Morning, everyone. Morning. Happy Easter holidays, everyone. Hi, Rowan. How are you? Oh, some more people joining. Hello, everyone. Hi, Noah. Hi, Emily. I hope you're okay. Are you enjoying your holidays? What have you been up to? Did you enjoy the sunshine? What did you do over the weekend? Let us know in the comments box while we're waiting for people. Oh, lots more people joining. Brilliant. Hi, Ruben. Hi, Finn. Hi, Willow. Hope you're okay. It's lovely and sunny today, isn't it? It wasn't so nice yesterday. Who spent the weekend in the garden? Who had fun in the garden over the weekend? I hope you all stayed in. Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad. Oh, you had a barbecue. Lovely. What did you have on your barbecue? Did you have sausages, burgers? We were going to have a barbecue and then realised that there was only two of us, so it wasn't really worth it. Hello, Oscar. Oh, Oscar's come to see what's going on. Hello. You can see I got a little bit sunburned. I was out in the garden reading my book and didn't realise how hot it was, which is really silly of me. What else did you get up to over the weekend? Maybe let us know while we're waiting for people to join and then we'll get started. We went for a very nice long walk with the dog. And it wasn't too busy everywhere actually, which is quite nice. And then we sort of sat in the garden, did some bits and bobs. Daniel says he played with his tortoise, chasing him around the garden. Fun in the garden, bike riding and games and trampoline. It was lovely seeing as you walk around outside, seeing all the sort of rainbows on the pavement and chalking and things going on. That was really nice. Lots of fun things sound like they were going on. We'll start in just a few minutes, so make sure you're comfortable, and I'll talk you through what we're doing in a bit. We've got a lovely story this morning, a Greek myth by Charles Kingsley. I do love the Greek myths, and I'm going to show you how to make an ancient Greek theatre mask as well. So if you fancy a bit of arts and crafts as well, and we'll do some sign language as well. We'll just give it one more minute, and then we'll make a start, okay? And what are your plans for the rest of the week? Maybe you could let us know what else you're going to get up to. Hopefully the weather might stay nice. Oh, lots of going to the park and playing football in the garden. That sounds good. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, you can probably hear Oscar barking. Shall I go and get him and we can say hello before we start? Oscar, come here. Come here. Oh, come on, what's this? Good boy. Okay, here he comes. Here comes Oscar. Come on then. Whoa. Whoa. Oscar says hello. He's been out for a nice 45-minute walk this morning, haven't you? And hopefully we'll be able to get out in the garden later. I've just finished an amazing book called Into the Woods, which was a crime thriller. And I stayed up until about 11:30 last night because I was absolutely hooked and desperate to find out what was going on. And I finished it this morning while Oscar slept in a little ball next to me. Oh, there we go. I'll put him down. He's got his tennis ball. He's off. So, this morning we've got lots of fun things to do. We've got a few new signs to learn. We've got a story and we've got some craft as well. Yes, I have shaved. It was getting very long and what have you. So I look about 12 now. Yes, I have shaved. Okay. I think we've said hello to most people that have said hello, and we'll get started, shall we? So, sign language for this morning. I thought we'd go over some signs for some food and drink. Okay, some food and drink. And shall we start off with some drink to start with then? So, my aunt and my nan love a cup of this. Well, my nan loved a cup of this and my aunt drinks loads of it. It's tea. So tea is just tea. Like that. Like little pinkies up, tea. Can you all do that one? Show someone next to you. Well done. So coffee is very similar. We make a C and we go coffee. Coffee. Yeah, just like a mug of coffee with a C. So you've got tea and coffee. Yeah, everyone got that? So show someone coffee. Coffee. Well done. Next thing we've got is milk. So that's how you want your hands, like so. And then milk. Okay? So you've got tea or tea, coffee, milk. We'll do one more drink. You do orange juice. So you make a J shape. Orange juice. Yeah? So let's have a go then. Tea. Coffee. Well done. Milk. And orange juice. That's a bit trickier, that one, isn't it? So it's orange. You'll remember that from the colours we learned. Orange and juice. Yeah? Got that? Okay. Show someone next to you then. Tea. Orange juice. Milk. Coffee. Brilliant. Well done. How did you get on? Okay with those ones? Brilliant. Okay, we'll do a few bits of food then, shall we? I had these last night, so I had to find out and make sure I had the sign for these. First one is sausages. This is a really nice one. So you go like that, like a string of sausages. Okay? So and you would mouth sausages at the same time. Sausages. Yeah, can you do that one? Have a go at that one. Well done, if you got it. So we've got tea, coffee, orange juice, milk, and we've just added to that one sausages. Well done. We'll do some more meat, shall we? So that is meat in general. Meat. And then you've got chicken. You see that? Chicken. Pork. Same sign for a pig. Pork, chicken, meat, fish. So thumb and wiggle. Fish. Yeah? So meat, chicken, pork, fish, sausages. What else could we do? Pasta. So pasta is pasta. So 2 fingers like that, and then twiddle. Pasta. Got that? Pasta, sausages, chicken, meat. What else could we do? Apple. Apple. Yeah. Biscuit, and then cake. So biscuit, cake. Biscuit, cake. Okay, so we've got apple, pasta, biscuit. So 2 taps, biscuit, and then cake, like that. Okay, shall we go through some of those then? Let's have a go then, shall we? So, tea, coffee, orange juice, milk. Well done. And then we had meat, chicken, pork. What else did we have? Oh, apple, sausages, pasta. I think that was it, wasn't it? Okay, let's see how much you can remember then. Are you ready? Are you ready to go? Show me the sign for sausages. Sausages, like a string of sausages. Show me the sign for pasta. Twiddle, twiddle, pasta. Tea. Coffee. Orange juice. Orange juice. Milk. Did you get it? Milk. Pork. Apple. Biscuits. Cake. Just one, sorry, cake. Food is obviously going through my mind at the moment because I'm doing Lent, and we haven't had any chocolates, biscuits, sweets, cake for the whole of Lent. So I'm obviously thinking a lot of food at the moment. Do we have any other ones? I think that's probably it for now. That's probably enough to learn for now. I'll do some more food for you on Thursday. I'll teach you some more sign language for different food and drink. Okay? Well done. How did you get on? Which was the hardest sign, do you think? Which is going to be the hardest sign? Oh yeah, we've got fish, haven't we? Fish. Which one did you find hardest? Which one did you find easiest? Maybe pop it in the comments box. Okay. So, my favourite topic when I taught, especially in year 3 and 4, was always the Greek myths. I love the Greek myths. I love the stories of Medusa, the Minotaur, um, Hades, the underworld. I absolutely loved it. And I really enjoyed teaching it. And what I always used to do with children was get them to design their own monsters and heroes and write our own Greek myths. And they were always so exciting and brilliant. So I'm going to read you a classic Greek myth, and it's Theseus and the Minotaur. And let's have a listen to it, shall we? You can wrap yourself in a blanket. You might want to go and get yourself a little tea or a coffee or some orange juice or maybe even some milk to listen to the story. And then we'll start. Okay, so this is how Theseus slew the Minotaur. At last they came to Crete, beneath the peaks of Ida, and to the palace of Minos, the great king, to whom Zeus himself taught laws. So he was the wisest of all mortal kings, and conquered all the Aegean isles, and his ships were as many as the seagulls, and his palace like a marble hill. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? His ships were as many as the seagulls, and his palace like a marble hill. And he sat among the pillars of the hall, upon his throne of beaten gold, and around him stood the speaking statues, which Daedalus had made by his skill. For Daedalus was the most cunning of all Athenians, and he first invented the plumb line, and glue, and many a tool with which wood is wrought. And he first set up masts and ships and yards, and his son made sails for them. But Perdix, his nephew, excelled him, for he first invented the saw and its teeth, copying it from the backbone of a fish, and invented too the chisel and the compass and the potter's wheels which moulds the clay. Therefore Daedalus envied him, and hurled him headlong from the temple of Athene. But the goddess pitied him, for she loves the wise, and changed him into a partridge, which flies forever about the hills. And Daedalus fled to Crete, to Minos, and worked for him many a year, till he did a shameful deed, at which the sun hid his face on high. Then he fled from the anger of Minos, he and Icarus his son having made themselves wings of feathers, and fixed the feathers with wax. So they flew over the sea towards Sicily, but Icarus flew too near the sun, and the wax of his wings was melted, and he fell into the sea. But Daedalus came safe to Sicily, and there wrought many a wondrous work, for he made a reservoir for which a great river watered all the land, and a castle and a treasury on a mountain, which the giants themselves could not have stormed. And in Selenos he took the steam which comes up from the fires of Etna, and made it into a warm bath of vapour to cure the pains of mortal men. And he took a honeycomb of gold, in which the bees came and stored their honey. And in Egypt he made the forecourt of the temples in Memphis, and the statues, and many other wondrous work. And for Minos he made statues which spoke and moved, and the dancing hall of Ariadne, which he carved of fair white stone. And in Sardinia he worked for Ilinos, and in many a land beside, wandering up and down forever with his cunning, unlovely, and uncursed by men. But Theseus stood before Minos, and they looked each other in the face. And Minos bade take them to prison, and cast them to the monster one by one. But Theseus cried, "A boon, O Minos! Let me be thrown first to the beast, for I came hither for that very purpose, of my own will, and not by lot." "Why art thou then, brave youth?" "I am the son of him whom of all men thou hatest most, Aegeus, the king of Athens, and I am come here to end this matter." And Minos pondered a while, looking steadfastly at him, and he thought, "The lad means to atone by his own death for his father's sin, And he answered at last mildly, "Go back in peace, my son. It is a pity that one so brave should die." But Theseus said, "I have sworn that I will not go back till I have seen the monster, the Minotaur, face to face and defeated him." At that Minos frowned and said, "Thou shalt see him. Take the madman away." And they led Theseus away into the prison with the other youths and maids. But Ariadne, Minos's daughter, saw him, and she came out of her white stone hall, and she loved him for his courage and his majesty, and said, "Shame that such a youth should die." And by night she went down to the prison and told him all her heart, and said, "Flee down to your ship at once, for I have bribed the guards before the door. Flee, you and all your friends, and go back in peace to Greece, and take me with you, for I dare not stay after you are gone, for my father will kill me miserably if he knows that I have helped you." And Theseus stood a while, for he was astonished and confounded by her beauty. But at last he said, "I cannot go home in peace till I have seen and slain this Minotaur, and avenged the deaths of the youths and maidens, and put an end to the terrors of my land." "And you will kill the Minotaur? How then?" "I know not, nor do I care, but he must be strong if he be too strong for me." Then she loved him all the more and said, "But when you have killed him, how will you find your way out of a labyrinth?" What's a labyrinth? Does anyone know what the labyrinth is? So Theseus went to kill the Minotaur. The Minotaur was killing people, and Theseus, this brave hero, said, "I will go and kill the Minotaur." But the Minotaur lived in a labyrinth. Does anyone know what a labyrinth is? Maybe you could post it. How will you find out your way out of the labyrinth? "I know not, neither do I care, for it must be a strange road, if I do not find it out before I have eaten up the monster's carcass." Then she loved him all the more, and said, "Fair youth, you are too bold, but I can help you. I will give you a sword, and with that perhaps you may slay the beast, and some thread, and by that perhaps you may find your way out again. Only promise me that if you escape safe, you will take me home with you to Greece, for my father will surely kill me if he knows what I have done." So Ariadne promises to help Theseus. She gives him a sword to help kill the creature, and some thread so that he can leave it behind him and follow it back as he comes out of the labyrinth. Is there a fairy tale where the characters leave some sort of trail so they can find their way home? Can you think of a fairy tale where the characters leave a trail to help them on their way home? It's quite similar, isn't it? Theseus laughed and said, "Am I not safe enough now?" And he hid the sword and rolled up the thread in his hand, and then he swore to Ariadne and fell down before her and kissed her hands and feet, and she wept over him a long while and then went away. And Theseus lay down and slept sweetly. And when the evening came, the guards came in and led him away to the labyrinth. And he went down on that doleful gulf, through winding paths among the rocks, under caverns and arches and galleries, and over heaps of fallen stone. And he turned on the left hand and on the right, and went up and down till his head was dizzy, but all the while he held the thread. That's such a great, complex sentence. It really gets across how up and down and round and about he's going, doesn't it? Should we listen? Just listen to that again. He went down into that doleful gulf, through winding paths among the rocks, under caverns and arches and galleries, and over heaps of fallen stone. And he turned on the left hand, and he turned on the right hand, and he went up and down till his head was dizzy, but all the while he held his thread. For when he For when he went in, he had fastened the end of it to a stone and left it to unroll out of his hand as he went on, and it lasted him till he met the Minotaur in a narrow chasm between black cliffs. And when he saw the Minotaur, he stopped a while, for he had never seen so strange a beast. His body was a man's, but his head was the head of a bull, and his teeth were the teeth of a lion, and with them he tore his prey. And when he saw Theseus, he roared and put his head down and rushed right at him. But Theseus stepped nimbly aside, and as he passed by, cut him in the knee. And here he could turn in the narrow path. He followed him and stabbed him again and again from behind, till the monster fled bellowing wildly, for he had never before felt a wound. But Theseus followed him at full speed, holding the thread in his left hand. Then on through cavern after cavern, under dark ribs of sounding stone, and up rough glens and torrent beds, among the sunless roots of Ida, and the edge of the eternal snow went they, the hunter and the hunted, while the hills bellowed to the monsters below. And at last Theseus came up with him, where he lay panting on a slab among the snow, and caught him by the horns, and forced his head back, and drove the sword through his throat. And there, you might be able to see it, is a picture of Theseus slaying the Minotaur in the labyrinth. Can everyone see that? And at last, Theseus came up with him, where he lay... Sorry, we've done that bit. So he forced his head and forced his sword through his throat. Then he turned and went back, limping and weary, feeling his way down by using the thread, till he came to the mouth of that doleful place, and saw waiting for him, who but Ariadne? And he whispered, "It is done," and showed her the sword, and she laid her finger on her lips, and led him to the prison, and opened the door, and set all the prisoners free, while the guards lay sleeping heavily, for she had silenced them with wine. Then they fled to their ship together, and leapt on board, and hoisted up the sail, and the night lay dark around them, so that they passed through Minos' ships, and escaped all safe, and Ariadne became Theseus' wife. So that is the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. Some lovely bits of rhythm and action in that. I loved all the he turned left, he turned right, he went through the rocks, under the caverns and arches, through the heaps of stone, till his head was dizzy. And there's some brilliant there's a lovely chase scene as well, when Theseus is chasing the wounded Minotaur on through cavern after cavern, under dark ribs of sounding stone, and up through rough glens and torrent beds, among the sunless roots of Ida, and to the edge of the eternal snow went they, the hunter and the hunted, while the hills bellowed to the monsters below. And what's really clever about that is that that is all one long sentence. So it really makes you, when you're reading it, through cavern after cavern, under dark ribs of sounding stone, and up rough glens and torrent beds, among the sunless roots of Ida, and to the edge of the eternal snow went they, the hunter and the hunted. It really makes you rush through it like you're rushing with Theseus, doesn't it? So really fantastic story there. Theseus and the Minotaur. Who liked that story? So you can find for free, because they're out of copyright now, these were Greek myths, the heroes of Greek fairy tales, written by Charles Kingsley. And he's got lots of ones on there. He's got Perseus and the Gorgons, you might know that one, Jason and the Argonauts, the story of Theseus. So you might want to find that. It's the Heroes or Greek Fairy Tales by Charles Kingsley, and you can get that book for free. It's out of copyright. Hopefully you like that one. Very exciting. So I thought I would show you now how to make a Greek theatre mask. In the theatre, in ancient Greek times, the actors wore these big, exaggerated Greek theatre masks. I'll show you some pictures of them, but you can always look it up on the internet or in reference books. Let's have a look for you. Here we go. So they looked like this. Let's see if we can get it up for you. There's one type of mask there. Do you see all those sorts of big exaggerated features? Yeah. And let's find some other ones for you to have a look at. Here's another one. So with the Greek theatre masks, let's show you. Oh, here's a lovely one of some Greek masks. You'll like these ones. Can you see those? Oh, yeah, can you see them? So you'll either notice with the masks, they either had a big exaggerated smile or a big exaggerated frown. And the reason for that was to let the audience know whether the play was a comedy or a tragedy. A tragedy when something bad, sad, awful happens. Okay. And it's also thought that the masks helped amplify the sound and make the actors sound louder. Okay. And it also meant that they could have less actors on stage because all they had to do was swap masks to swap parts. Okay. So that's a little bit about a Greek mask and they were very sort of elaborate and ornate, but very exaggerated eyes and mouth. And I thought I'd show you this morning how to make one. I'm gonna just rub this off if that's all right. Hopefully you've all seen that. It was just a hello. There we go. So all I did to start off with is fold a piece of card in half, portrait. And then what I've done, if you can see, so can you see I folded it in half and I've cut out a big frowning side of the face. And then I drew an eye, and your eyes can be any shape, your mouth can be any shape really. If we think of this as the half of the theatre mask, like that. So I cut there, that's the side of the page, that's my chin there, okay? I've kept all the bits of paper to one side as well, okay? That's really important. So you could either do a sort of more exaggerated smile if you wanted to, or you can do more of an exaggerated frown like that. And then all I did, I drew out my eye, and again, it can be a completely different shape depending on what sort of look you're going for. You could just have a circle, or you could have something more like that. And do you see here how that echoes the shape of the mouth? You could have something like that. And then what I did, I just pushed my scissors in and cut round it. You might want to get an adult to help you with that bit because that's a bit tricky and you need to be careful with that. And then what you'll get is something that looks like so. Okay? Do you see that? Okay? That's my version there just to start with. That's a really basic, simple version there. Okay? Now, what you can then do, I kept the cutout of the mouth. I've kept that and I've made it to one side. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use it as a nose. Okay, so I'll just show you. I'm going to use sellotape today, but you might want to use glue. That might work. Just going to line this up so it's protruding out. And then I'm just going to quickly stick it on for you so you can see what it looks like. Okay. And there we go. We've got that nose that's going to protrude out and look like so. You could use a triangle to make a nose. I was just trying to save paper. I've actually used cardboard. So the other thing that you could do, I've got some other parts here. This is from the top of my page. Do you see her there? And what I thought is that it would make some really good eyebrows. So I'm going to snip this off, this part here. Just cut it in half like so. And then I'm going to use that to make some eyebrows that are going to pop out. So I'll just show you again. I'm just going to very quickly sellotape it on. Like so. There you go. Do you see that? So now we've got sort of a 3D eyebrow because they really protrude. How are you getting on? Are you following me along? Everything okay so far? I'm using quite stiff cardboard because otherwise it might be a bit flimsy, but you could play around with different materials. So that's what I've got so far. Okay. Everyone got that? Now, the other thing that I'm going to do with my Greek theatre mask is behind it, I'm going to put like a garland of leaves. So all I've done with all the spare bits of paper I had, can you see all these spare bits of paper I had? I've just cut out some leaves and I folded them so it's going to give you a bit of a 3D shape. Okay, it just adds a bit of depth to it, and you could glue it behind like so. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly do this. Would you like me to sing to you while I'm doing this? I can sing if you want me to. Just say, feel free if you want to hear me have a little sing song. I'm sure you probably do. I don't see why not. Let's carry on. Making a Greek mask. Making a Greek mask. See, look at that. And this one, I've even sort of bent it a little bit to give it a bit more movement as well. Okay. So, there we go. Keep going with those leaves. And you could always paint these green. It's entirely up to you. I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. There we go. Last leaf to stick on. Do you see how I actually cut them out today? So it's being all organised for you. Da, 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 da. There we go. Okay. How's that looking? Not bad at all. There we go. Ooh. Okay. So you can stick more on, stick less on. It's entirely up to you. Okay. And just make sure they're really carefully stuck down. And don't, if you're using glue, don't put it on while the glue's still wet because you're going to get glue all over your little hair. And you wouldn't want that. Most definitely not. So there you go. Got it so far? Perfect. Now, the other thing that you can do, can you see that if I put that up like that? If I just sellotape that up there so you can see what it will look like. There we go. Everyone got that? Just make sure it doesn't fall down, and I'll do this as quickly as I possibly can. Oh, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Now, again, with those scraps of leftover paper, make sure you use up all the paper or cards you've got. I'm going to give my character a little beard, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my scissors. Again, you might want to ask an adult for this. You can either use scissors to curl the paper, or if it's card and you can't do it, you could stick them. I would stick them behind if I were you, okay? But I'm going to stick it in front just to show you what it will look like. So you can give it, and again, I'm just using scraps of paper, cutting out little rectangles with them, okay? Just like that, curling them up, and you can go along there, all the way along, and give him or her a curled beard if you wanted to. You might not want to, but that's something extra that you can do, okay? I remember making 15 of these for my first school play that I did. We did I can't remember the exact play. It was something about the Greek myths, and it was my first ever school play as a teacher. And all of the narrators had Greek masks that I made for them. But do you see? They've got that curled beard as you go along. Now, it's entirely up to you how you decorate it. However, this is my advice. What I would do is get a black thick pen if I were you. And what you can do is very carefully start just outlining the features of your mask, okay? Something like that. Try and keep it really simple. Yeah, just keep it very, very simple like so. Okay, you're just focusing on line. Okay, you might want to, I think it's a bit difficult up here, but you might want to sort of add some circles and things like so. Okay, to the eyebrows, that sort of thing. Okay. You might even want to, in places, do double lines like so. Yeah. So that sort of thing would look, and it just focusing on line. Okay. And then you've got a Greek mask. Okay. All you need to really is probably 2 pieces of paper for it if you're really sensible and try and use all the scraps. That's what I've done. I've tried to use all the scraps and things to make all the different shapes. Okay, remember it can have that big comedy grin, the big frown. You can change the eyes. You might want some horns coming out. You might even, what I thought you could do, if you wanted to make Medusa, you could use some of these scraps of paper to make snakes coming out and have a wreath of snakes coming out and twisting and turning. Okay? And then all you need to do, and it's entirely up to you, you've got a couple of options. You could either put some sort of stick where the chin is and stick it on the back so that you can hold your mask, or you can get a parent just to put 2 holes at the side of the mask and then some string or elastic so you can wear it. Okay, so that's entirely up to you. But we would love to see pictures of your Greek tragedy masks or comedy masks. You can post photos in the Reading Realm Facebook group, or you can email them to me, ian@thereadingrealm.co.uk. On the website, on the Reading Realm website, what I've done, I've put together a pack for you where you can plan and write your own Greek myth. And I've given you an example that I wrote. If anyone's watching that I taught in year 3 and 4, it's an example that I wrote when we did our Greek myths. And I modelled and showed the children how to write their own Greek myth. So I've put that example in there, and then you've got a couple of planning sheets, and then you've got some sheets where you can write out and illustrate your own Greek myth with a monster. And again, we would love to read them. You can email them to me on the app as well. Final one before we all go. On the app as well, the Reading Realm app, you might not have heard of this app. I've never mentioned it before. On the Reading Realm app, we actually have some Greek myths written by children for children. So I worked with some primary schools and they wrote their own Greek myths, and we've put them in the app. So this one is called The Terrifying Creature of Crete. So there's some example Greek myths written by some year 5 and 6 children, with discussion guides, with games, with quizzes about them. Okay, history and geography quizzes. So they're on the Reading Realm iPad app. Okay, so today we've gone over some sign language. We read Theseus and the Minotaur and talked about some of the language and sentence structures in it, and hopefully enjoyed it. And then I showed you out of white cardboard how to make your own 3D Greek theatre mask. I would love to see them. So please do have a go at sending us pictures of your Greek theatre masks. And remember, on the Reading Realm website, there's a pack of resources for you to download to write your own one. Hope you're all okay. Enjoy the sunshine. I will see you on Thursday this week, okay? It's just 2 this week because it's the Easter holidays. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing that with you all and showing you how to make it. I'm looking forward to seeing some bits and bobs sent in. Take care, everyone, and I shall see you soon. Bye.